You know I'm not gonna stay ready.
That's right.
If it's war, then we pulling out the bows. Strictly for my knockers represent the stronghold. Better put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, blackjack will never fold. If it's war, then we pulling out the bows. Strictly for my knockers represent the stronghold. Better put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, blackjack will never fold. Feather in my hat, blackjack. Pull a dart from my back and lay a up out flat. American on my map when the trap hop out. Catch a colonizer lacking, we gon' build funky scalping, pull his eyeballs out. Send them back where they came from. My knockers stay dangerous. Pack their ass on the ship and send them back to England. If it's war, my knockers then line up. Only real knockers slide with us. Let's tribe up. If it's war, then we pulling out the bows. Strictly for my knockers represent the stronghold. Better put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, blackjack will never fold. If it's war, then we pulling out the bows. Strictly for my knockers represent the stronghold. Let them put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, blackjack will never fold. Solid gold, they goose, the black magic purple gold. I was told they labeled you a savage. Strictly for my knockers to slaughter a Babylon. Pull a sword from the stone, my knocker, the house of cards. Point out the potentials, I bet you I make change. By any method necessary, I bring pain. And if you got your peace pipe with you, then fire up. Only real knockers ride with us, we tribe up. Great day, great day. Hey, welcome to the House of Cons. I'm Blackjack, Tribe Up. Hey, salute to the tribe, salute to everybody in the house. Salute to Sammy, salute to Monaga, salute to the chat. Hey, y'all hear me in that chat, let me know, yeah, salute. We about to get busy tonight on this 4th of July. Monaga talking about American independence. American independence, well, look like American being subdued, Monaga, salute.
Big dummy.
American independence, my ass. We about to talk about it though. Hope everybody feeling good. Hope everybody been enjoying themselves otherwise, my nigga. You know, salute the 203 Low Gang in the house, tribe up. They talking about Independence Day. Independence for who? Not independence for you, my nigga. Look like you being subdued on your own land, my nigga. Talking about the Independence Day in America. You know, they might as well call this Conquistador Day. You know what I'm saying? Salute. They ain't tried up. Independence Day, what? Like King Kamehameha in Hawaii? Or like them boys off in Haiti? That's what independence look like to me. I need to see a knocker face on the dollar. If you want to talk independence, ain't no independence. Salute. Being subdued, my nigga. Texas in the building. Hey, respect to all the relatives, like Monaga say, salute, we tried up, man. We're gonna talk about something real. We ain't celebrating. We ain't celebrating they holidays, you know what I'm saying? They holiday, holy holidays, whatever they want to call it. We don't celebrate with them, we don't rock like that, you know what I'm saying? And we about to get into it, like I say, this 4th of July. I got something I want to look at with y'all. But before we look at what I want to look at, we're gonna have a little conversation. Cause they call this Independence Day. Independence for who though, man? This is to me the 4th of July 1776. That's when America. That's when they put the stamp on the nail in the coffin on conquering the land, Monaga, subduing the Indian, Monaga. The 4th of July. And you see, we got a thumbnail. We looking at it again. Got some subliminals going on in here, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have a sharp eye, my nigga. You gotta have a sharp eye, my nigga. A third eye point of view, my nigga, not a bird eye point of view. When we look at this thumbnail, we see to the right, we already know what that is. That's one of the original tobacco Indians, a black boy style tobacco Indian. The early original tobacco Indians, my nigga. We see that to the far right, salute. The real Indian, the real American Indian. In his loincloths, feathers up, red, white, and blue, my nigga. Then to the left of him, right at center stage, we see kind of blended in, almost fading out. We see a Naga. See a Naga with glasses on, Naga bearded up. You know, some other stuff going on. What is that? And we see the 1776 on the colonizer flag in the background. Salute. Or they stole our colors, my Naga. They want to be a Naga so bad they stole everything. Stole our colors, stole everything. Stole our land, stole our title, our identity, all that, man. They stole everything. Stole your religion, stole your language. Yeah, it was you. We're gonna prove it. Y'all know we always got receipts. Well, I just want to take a quick look at that from a third eye point of view real quick. And by the way, I'm Blackjack. If you ain't know, hit the like, subscribe, and share. Go and get your membership, my Naga Tribe up. You know what I'm saying? But let's just dive right on in, my Naga. Yeah, they talking about Independence Day, 4th of July. Okay, 4th of July, independence for who? We're gonna go right back to Black Virginia, Pleasure of the Smoke, Black Virginia and Georgia tobacco London shops. We see a Naga half naked in loincloth, nappy head as hell, like he need a tape up. And we see a colonizer on the right, and like they say they in Virginia, best Virginia. I don't see a $5 red man nowhere. If anybody see a $5 Indian, let me know. Kurt Pruitt in the house. Salute, Kurt Pruitt. Ain't seen you in a minute, but not Kurt Pruitt in the house. Tribe up. So, yeah. So we see the Naga, we see the colonizers smoking on something. We see they in Virginia. Ain't no $5 Indian nowhere in sight. No red man, nowhere in sight. What did the description say? Faulkner's Best Virginia, Token House Yard in Hill Collection, 117 to 50.50. Contain contrast between European and heathen masculinity. They call you a heathen, my Naga. They say between European and heathen masculinity, right? That complicate these depictions of British authority. They say, oh, it complicates things. They say, it's complicated, my Naga. They say, only a few written accounts of tobacco hinted at the physical domination of Atlantic peoples. What people, African people? No, Atlantic peoples. The physical, the masculine, the physical domination. That Naga is kind of cocky. Like that Naga play basketball or something. Like that Naga can drive a ball to the hole and dunk on your ass. Naga cut, he got a 6-pack. That Naga muscle bound. This guy here is curvy like a woman. The European guy. So they contain contrast between European and heathen masculinity that complicate these depictions of British authority. How he is authority, this man looks stronger than him. They say it complicate the idea of British authority, huh? It's only a few written accounts of tobacco hinted at the physical domination of the Atlantic peoples in England's tobacco plantation. A 1716 poem on tobacco linked Bacchus's discovery and consumption of tobacco to his ability to subdue the Indians, my Naga. Who he's subduing? The Indians, my Naga. That's you. He's doing. They told you right here. He's subduing the Indian, my Naga. And we talking this 4th of July. Legend of Naga Charlie in the house. Tribe up, my Naga. Legend of Naga Charlie in the house. He gonna subdue. They say Bacchus. They say it complicate though. The physical dominance and masculinity. They say, oh, it's complicating things. They say, but his ability to subdue the Indian, what with mind games? It subdued you, my Naga. Let's get into this 4th of July. The Great Fear of 1776, my Naga. They say it was a great fear. The Great Fear of 1776. By the way, we on ageofrevolutions.com if you want to get there with me. ageofrevolutions.com. Yeah, I've been on a couple days hiatus, my Naga. Your boy had to take care of some business the past couple days. You know what I'm saying? But I got everything in order like I need to be, my Naga. So now I'm back on the live again, my Naga. You know what I'm saying? And we got the Great Fear of 1776, ageofrevolutions.com. Get there. By Jeffrey Osler. He say sometime in mid-1776, just as colonists were declaring their independence from Great Britain, an unnamed Shawnee addressed an assembly of representatives from multiple indigenous nations who had gathered at the Cherokee capital of Chota. Taking a wampum belt in his hand, the Shawnee spoke of a long history of injustice at the hand of the Virginians. Oh, Virginia again, huh? What the Shawnee look like, huh? I wonder what that Shawnee look like. They've been trying to subdue the Indians in Virginia and all through the Americas, my Naga. The Shawnee part, there might be a Shawnee right there, huh? Subdue the Indian, huh? Say up in Virginia, my Naga. They say the Shawnee spoke of a long history of injustice, huh? Black and white. It was always a black and white thing, huh? It was always a black and white thing. Nigga this, nigga that, huh? They say the long history of injustice at the hand of the Virginians, a term many native people applied to greedy settlers from Virginia and other colonies. The red people, he said, red my ass. He said, red my ass. This nigga look red to you? No, black Virginians, my nigga. Black Virginians. Oh, subdue who? Subdue the Indians, my nigga. For anybody who can't see, subdue who? Subdue the Indians, my nigga. Subdue the Indians. They wrote this in the 1700s, and they telling you the Indian look like this. What kind of Virginians? Red was no. Black Virginians, my nigga. So we gonna run right over that. We gonna run right over that red people hijack. We gonna run right over it with the big truck, my nigga. We gonna run right over that hijack. The so-called red, my ass. The black Virginians, my nigga. He said had once been masters of the whole country, but now they hardly possess ground enough to stand on. Huh, my nigga? You possess enough ground to stand on, my nigga? Huh? Yeah, the fake ass red people. They in the reservation. They in the world zoo, my nigga. He said had once been the masters of the country, but now they hardly possess ground enough to stand on. You was once the master, my nigga. Now you was once the master, my nigga. It all made sense, huh? You see that black boy nigga on the right? It all made sense, huh? Don't it all make sense, my nigga? Subduing the Indian. Subdue the Indian, my nigga. Subdue the Indian. Do you see, my nigga? Can you see? You got your third eye open? You see who the real one is? This one segment ought to tell you enough. But nah, it ain't enough. We're gonna continue. It say we're gonna run that red people hijack over. Masters of the whole country and hardly got enough land to stand on. Now it's all in the project now. Not only did the Virginians want their land, the Shawnee contended they wanted their lives. It is plain they wanted their lives, huh? They wanted your identity, my nigga. They wanted to be you, my nigga. It is plain, he said, that there was an intention to extirpate them. What they mean, exterminate? On paper, extirpate. Extirpate. I need to look that one up. That's the first time I've seen that word. Extirpate them. I kind of understand what he's saying. Although the term genocide had not been invented, this is precisely what the Shawnee feared native peoples were up against. A project that threatened their very existence, my nigga. What they call you now? Threaten your existence, my nigga. Threaten your existence, my nigga. Subdue the Indian, now they calling you an African American, my nigga. Threatening your existence. It's, yeah, what they gonna erase this and put African American in here now? Explain this. I'm waiting on the hijack to come explain that. Threatening your very existence. Since the publication of Bernard Bailyn's introduction to pamphlets of the American Revolution in 1965, we have known that colonizers expressed fears of a British conspiracy to enslave them. Look at that, the white slaves. We just did a whole lot of history on the white slaves. The white slaves over here shaking in their boots. They said, oh, they want to enslave us with the nigglets. The white colonists, they say American fears that colonists intended to annihilate them. Yeah, they wanted to annihilate you, man. They wanted to slay you, monarchy, annihilate you. Yeah, we have paid little attention to Native American fears that colonists intended to annihilate them. How widespread were those fears? As I was researching my recent book, Surviving Genocide, I found several examples of what I call an indigenous consciousness of genocide. In March 1776, for example, a Cherokee leader named Dragging Canoe told a British agent that his nation had but a small part of ground left to stand upon, and that the colonists' unrelenting demands for land proved that it was their intentions to destroy the Cherokee nation from being a people. 3 years later, they hijacked it. They hijacked it. They said, yeah, we'll take this Cherokee nation over and put our white guys in there. That's what they did. 3 years, we put them on the Dawes Road. They charged $5.
Sit your $5 ass down.
3 years later, as the Continental Army was about to invade Iroquois, it was going to invade Iroquois, the homeland of the Six Nations. Haudenosaunee Mohawk leader Joseph Brant wrote of his determination to fight the Bostonians, another designation for rapacious colonists, observing that it is their intention to exterminate the people of the Longhouse. They want us to do you, Managa. Exterminate you. Who they want us to do and exterminate? They couldn't exterminate you physically. They already told you was more masculine, you was physically dominant. They had to play games with your mind, Managa. So do you mentally tell you somebody else. Brainwash you, Managa. They MK Ultra your ass. Tell the truth. Okay, say I also discovered that U.S. officials were well aware that Native people were making allegations like those of Dragon Canoe and Joseph Brant. Evidence of their knowledge was sitting in plain sight in the first written treaty between the United States and the Indian Nation in 1778, Fort Pitt Treaty with the Delaware Nation. Article 6 of the treaty addresses the charge that it is the design of the United States to extirpate the Indians and take possession of their country. Extirpate them and take possession of their country, Managa. The text which U.S. commissioners wrote attributes this allegation to the enemies of the United States, i.e. the British, who have endeavored by every artifice in their power to convince the Indians of the false suggestion. False suggestion, my ass. Who running the country? As if Native people wouldn't have arrived at this conclusion on their own. To convince the Delawares of U.S. benevolence, the treaty promises to guarantee Delaware rights to their lands and offers to consider creating a 14th state for Indians. How you gonna create a 14th state for a Naga on his own land? Historians have long been fascinated with the idea of an Indian state, an idea which politicians and reformers occasionally proposed into the early 20th century without noticing the U.S. leaders first raised the possibility to counter allegations of genocide. Lenape Killing House engraving. So this the Lenape Indians Killing House, Managa. Supposed to be the Lenape Indians, Managa. Look mighty white to me, look like colonizers. It's hijack history. But the story is about you. See, they'll tell the true story sometimes. They'll put fake pictures. Or they'll tell a fake story and put real pictures. They'll tell a lie of the truth. Fork tongue, Managa. Split tongue, Managa. Snake talk. Alright, let's move on. Alright, Jewish Indian theory. Let's get into it. On this 4th of July, Managa. Since we talking Indians and we know we talking Nagas. We know we talking the Naga. Ain't no doubt about it. Ain't no denying it. They know it. They know it. They can't stand it, but they know it's true. They know who they want us to do and enslave. The Indian for the tobacco, for the cotton, for everything else. It was you, Managa. The Indian, Managa. So now, let's talk about it though. The Jewish Indian theory though. So on this 4th of July, Managa. Jewish Indian theory. The Jewish Indian theory. But how can the Indian be Jewish? And the Indian is Judah, Managa. Salute, Managa. Tribe up. Jewish Indian theory. Or Hebraic Indian theory. Yeah, Hebraic Indian theory sound better because you can't be Jewish when you are Judah, Managa. How can you be Jewish? How can you be something like Judah? You can't be a wannabe Judah. That's what Jewish is. You want to sit on the throne? Nah, you Judah, Managa. So the Hebraic Indian theory is more accurate. Not no Jewish Indian theory. The Hebraic Indian theory, but in their eyes, Managa, the Jewish Indian theory, or Jewish Amerindian theory. They call it erroneous, Managa. So it's something to it when they call it erroneous. They want to call it erroneous, ridiculous, or whatever. It's true to it. What's the erroneous idea that some or all of the lost tribes of Israel had traveled to the Americas? See, they don't understand talking about travel to the Americas. The Americas is the home, Managa. They thinking you travel from the east because they gonna hijack history. They don't know the truth. You ain't come from the east, Managa. You ain't come from Africa. You were always here. Or all the lost tribes of Israel had traveled to the Americas, and that all or some of the indigenous peoples of the Americas, all of the indigenous people of the Americas, like the black boy tobacco Indian, Managa. Like the Indians they want us to do, Managa. Like the Indians on the beach, Managa. Like the Indians in the background, Managa. All of them, subdue you. When they talking Indian, my nigga, they talking you right now. They talking you right now. They say all of the indigenous peoples of the Americas are of Israelite descent. They know this, my nigga. I ain't the only one talking about this. They know this. We're not the only one on this side talking about this. They know it. Or we're influenced by, ain't no influenced by no Jewish nothing. You are the Israelites. They said it right there. They said it first because they know that's it. They are Israelites. The theory was popular. They ain't talking about $5 Indians. They talking about the niggas. Get it? The Nagas. They're not talking $5 Native Americans. The bloodline don't match. They're talking about you. The theory was popular in the late 17th century. They're talking about the so-called African American. That's why they want to put you in Africa. It had a lasting legacy through the influence of Mormon belief. The Mormons know everything, and the Mormon got you Nagas' ancestors' birth certificates and all. The Mormons got more records than the U.S. government. The Mormons got that shit off in the mountains somewhere, locked up like Fort Knox. They got more births, Christian and Christianization Indians. They got all you Nagas' ancestor records. The Mormons, yeah, they know. The U.S. government know it too. They say history. The belief that the indigenous peoples of the Americas are of Israelite descent dates back to the 15th century. What's the 15th century? The 1400s. What, like 1492? When Columbus rolled up? Oh, it dates all the way back to when Columbus rolled up, They say the Israelites over there talking about he didn't know where he was going. He knew where he was going. Talking about he was going looking for a route to India. Yeah, he knew exactly where he was going, to India Superior. The land of the Presto, my naga. Presto John. Khan Dawi, my naga. He knew where he was going. Israelite descent. The discovery of the populated New World, the old world. The discovery of the already populated. The discovery of the populated New World seemed to challenge European theories of human. It challenged human. It challenges the out of Africa theory. They say Nagas was already over there. It challenges the out of Africa theory. Say, where do the Nagas come from? Challenges human or it challenges Darwinism. It challenges all men came from monkey. It challenges all of that. It challenges where Shem Lot really is. With the question of how the origins of indigenous peoples in the Americas fitted into scriptural history. How they fit into scripture. How the indigenous Nagas of America fit into scripture. How did you fit, my Naga? How did you fit in the scripture, my Naga? How did you fit? They say they still dress like scripture. He has on a loincloth. They're shooting bow and arrows like angels, my Naga. They say, how do they fit in the scripture? Who are these Nagas? They wish they knew. Showing no $5 Indians nowhere, my Naga. Tired of these lies. Various ideas aroused, including possible relationships to because America is Egypt. Shout out to UBTV, man. UBTV dropped the new America is Egypt video today. Y'all make sure y'all check that out. I checked them out. While I've been on my hiatus, I have been indulging in some of the creators I like. I shout out to Cootie Mayo. Cootie Mayo dropped something new. I've been checking them out. Drop Nation been dropping something new. 432 dropped something. You know what I'm saying? UBTV dropped something. Dane Calloway dropped. I've been checking them out, my Naga. You know what I'm saying? I indulge too, my Naga. Shout out to UBTV. He just dropped America is Egypt, the new one. Where he talking about the he talking the dog, my Naga. Y'all might want to check that one out. Salute the UBTV, my Naga. Salute. They say the Chinese people of Atlantis, Yeah, the Chinese people of Atlantis was Nagas. What they talking about? All right. However, the most popular idea to emerge was that the indigenous peoples of the Americas were the descendants of the lost tribe. He said the most popular, however, the most popular idea of them all. It was more popular than anything going at the time and beyond. It said to emerge was that the indigenous peoples of the Americas were the descendants of the lost tribes of Israel, my Naga. Telling you the chosen people, my Naga. You got the, why you think Albert Perry blood so different? Why you think your ancestors so different, my nigga? Why you think they want your DNA so bad, my nigga? They gonna say, send your DNA in. You know, think it's a game, my nigga. Think it's a game. Let's say this theory thus nearly answered both the questions of the indigenous people's origins and what had happened to the lost tribes. They say it answered both of the questions. God damn. Now this on Wikipedia. Hey, they trying to say it without saying it, boy. Look at this, man. It's crazy. Now this is the first time I read up on this one. The theory existed in a wider debate about whether peoples of the world had a monogenic origin in Adam or whether they had a polygenic origin deriving from different creations. Yeah, some people got a monkey's uncle, my nigga. Salute. Some people the original man, like that Albert Perry nigga from South Carolina, who DNA crumbled their little chart apart and made them start over. Spanish writing, yeah, the Spanish knew all about it. Hey, one general in the house, salute one general, tribe up. The theory was discussed by Spanish writers in the 16th century and the 1500s, including Diego de Landa in his Relaciones de las Cosas de Yucatan. Yeah, managa, the relations of the things of the Yucatan, written around 1566, managa. He said, it's a bunch of nagas over here and their things. And Diego Duran's History of the Indies of New Spain. History of the Indies, managa. Columbus said he was looking for a route to the Indies, managa. He tried to say East India, but he knew where he was going. The first work to address this theory systematically came in 1607, The Origin of the Indians of the New World. They always want to know where you're from, managa. They say, where are these nagas from? They say, we need to subdue these nagas, steal their land, their tobacco. Where the hell are they from, though? Where the hell are these American Indians from? This naga has on a loincloth. This naga is looking like he stepped fresh out of heaven. Where are we? We're in the new world, my naga. That's what he said. That's what this funky Frenchman or whoever this colonizer is, smelling like a monkey's uncle's ass. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't bathing. He came here. The naga was like, dude, you know what I'm saying? It's a bow tour right over here, man. And he was like, man, what, you ain't never smoked before? He passed him some tobacco. You can't get rid of these motherfuckers. The naga shouldn't have done, man. The naga's gotta learn to be selfish sometimes. Salute. I only gave his ass nothing. I would have kicked him in his ass and something packing. I would have stuck a spear in his back. I said, man, what the hell? You don't look like us. Get the hell out of here. You ain't supposed to be over here. That's what I was trying to make friends and shit, man. Fuck them peoples. Trying to make friends with them motherfuckers. I don't need no friends. I got a tribe. I got a family. Fuck that friend shit. Friend with these other peoples. Fuck them peoples. This a race. This a competition, my nigga. Tribe up. Hey, Chief Jadiga in the house. Salute. Tribe up. Spanish knew. They say the first work to address the theory systematically came to The Origin of the Indians of the New World by Dominican Gregorio Garcia. I'm gonna go in on all these little sources too. I'm gonna go check them out. Garcia argued based on and man, you know, anybody $5 pretendians talking shit, y'all, take them to this page. It's loaded with sources. Say, oh yeah, pull up a source on them. Yeah, say the first work to address the theory systematically came there. The origin of the Indian, blah blah blah. Okay, Garcia argued based on supposed similarities in appearance. He said similarities in appearance, my nigga. Yeah, the Israelites had beards though, right? Salute. Wasn't the Shemites a bearded race? Go another bomb clue he telling you. He said similarities in appearance, so they definitely wasn't red. Customs including idolatry. And language, including the frequency of glotals, that the lost tribes of Israel traveled to the America. No, they ain't no travel to America. They went home, and we traveled around the world. They left America, traveled the world, and we came back home, fool. What you don't understand, alongside other migrations, including of Carthaginians and Phoenicians and people from China, Tartary and Atlantis. Look at that, they talking about Tartary and Atlantis. The book also look at that, they keep putting China in America too. Y'all better see what's going on here with the real China. All this, you know, like they got New York, the New York, just like they got New Berlin, the New Berlin, just like they got New Mexico, the New Mexico. A lot, just all these fake lands, like the fake Israel. You know what I'm saying? These people rewriting, like they rename neighborhoods, you know, just like clubs. You know, a nigga get smoked up at the club one night. A nigga get smoked up at that same club another night. Them folks be like, man, shit, this shit here dangerous. They say, he ain't gonna make no money. Ain't nobody wanna come. Let's change the name. That's how they hide history too. Change the name of lands. They say, nah, put Israel over here now. In case these niggas wise up, they'll think they from Africa. They put China over here now. Way across the world, we keep eating the niggas food. We got to fight all the Indians thinking they really Indians. They say the book also makes etymological arguments. For example, Garcia says Mexico was based on the Hebrew term Messiah, Mashika. Yes, right. Mexico was based on Mashika. That is absolutely true. Or Moshe, Moses, Managa. Garcia argued that circumcision, yeah, they found you niggas circumcised. They say these niggas, they pull up your lung, they looking at your nutsack, man, they sniffing the nigga nut so bad. They say these niggas running around having that. They say that nigga circumcised. They say, is this the tribe? Is this the lost tribe? They know what the hell going on. They know what the hell going on with you. They say these niggas are clean. These niggas are circumcised. They say Garcia argued that circumcision was common amongst the indigenous peoples of the Americas. They say, yeah, they had on loincloths. They was half naked. Especially in the Yucatan, Garcia suggested that the lost tribes must have reached the Americas from Eastern Asia. Eastern Asia is in America, you big dummy. You know what I'm saying? The real old world. You know what I'm saying? See, they stumbling. See, they get confused because they stumbling on all this stuff and they trying to make it make sense, but they got these fake places all across the world that they trying to make sense of it and they don't really understand what they looking at. Yeah. It's a came from Eastern Asia via the Bering Straits, and he confused. He talking about the pretending. In contrast, the French Archbishop Gilbert, I don't even, man, they talking hijack now. I had enough. I had enough. It's funny, man, because they stumbling on the clues they sell, and like they just ain't put it all together. Because to understand this particular subject, for one, about this hijack and all the layers of lies, you got to kind of be you kind of got to be versed in a variety of studies. You got to kind of be on a little bit of archaeology, a little bit on the history, a little bit on the language, a little bit on the. You got to be versed in all of that to put all of this together, religion, and to really understand what happened. And see, a lot of people, even these so-called historians, even these experts, they stumble on these truths and they don't understand. They say, wait a minute, it came from the Bering Strait. Wait a minute, the bloodline don't match up. Wait a minute, the Shemites was a bearded black race. They don't understand the whole time the Naga the Indian. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't be lied to, salute. And they ain't read everything. They never, the guy that wrote this article, he never saw this. He never saw Pleasure to Smoke Black Virginians talking about subduing the Indian and the Indians a Naga in the loincloth. He didn't know the white man was sniffing all up under the man's loincloth and said, God damn, this man is circumcised. He must be an Israelite. Salute. It's all right. We'll take our time and we'll point it all out. We got time. Right here, circa 1843, we put in the community post a little while back. It said the language that's uttered by Tecumseh is not written by the pen of fiction. They say this ain't no fiction, merely to uphold a theory of the brain. They say this ain't no fiction just to hold your brain in the theory, but gathered from the archives of a people's history. They say this is the history. They the descendants of the Israelites to support a theory of apparent truth, Managa. The present writer will not yield to any man in the firm belief that the Aborigine, Managa, you, of North America, but North America only, So he say. North America only. Yeah, it was other tribes all over here that ain't supposed to have been over here, but all the land ours. And the ancient Israelites are identical. It is you, Managa. Salute. It is you. You say the Israelites are these people, the Aborigines especially. They say especially in North America. They say you cannot deny that these Nagas in North America, they say these black ass, nappy head ass Nagas with cloths on and feathers up looking like angels. They say you cannot deny that these is the Israelites. They are identical. They circumcised and everything. They following the law of Moses, Moshe. They the part of their land called Mexico, which is really the Messiah or the Mexica. They said these is it. We done hit the jackpot. We found them. We got them, boss. We found it. This Naga looking like he right out the page of the Bible, or the first of the. He look like he out of a page of the first Testament, Managa. And you got to understand, they call it the Bible. The Bible is an accumulation of books. First off, the first 5 books of Moses, the Tanakh, that made the beginning of the Torah, Managa. So you got to understand, it's an accumulation of books, and somebody called it the Bible after they put all these books together, and then they hijacked it and made a New Testament, and they created Christianity with that. All this after they came over here and found you. They brought a King James version after that. Remix your family history. They know you are the beginning, just like Albert Perry got the oldest blood they can find from South Carolina, a nigga. They say this is the Adam gene. They say these is the people right out the damn book we done wrote. They say these are them. They say this is really the bloodline of Judah. They say they're not Jewish. They say this is really them. I don't understand, man. Why you think that's why they so mad? Why you think they so mad at Kyrie? Why you think they so mad at Kanye? They say, man, shut that Naga up. Why you think they so mad, my Naga? And I'm gonna prove even more why they mad. I'm gonna show you something else tonight. They're the Israelites. They are the Israelites, my Naga. All right, history of them. All right, so where that source come from right there, because I didn't put it in the community post because I wanted to share this later, because I'm actually going to do a live stream, a whole separate live stream on the source that this information from this community post come from. It was from 1843, my Naga, and the source is right here. I'm going to show y'all the source right now. The history of ancient America, my Naga. The history of ancient America. Not no new world, the old world, my Naga. See, 1843, my Naga. Look at that. Look at that. What they got? Moshe, the Mexica, the Naga, with his commandments, my Naga. Man, I get upset sometimes. I get outrageous sometimes, kind of animated sometimes for a reason, y'all. I done been studying this for a while. There's a lot of stuff I know about this stuff that I got a lot of passion about, and I don't like lies, you know what I'm saying? A lot of stuff I just try to dispel, and sometimes you got to get through it. Man, yeah, my Naga, they know it's you, my Naga. Yeah, dedicated to his grace. The Archbishop of Canterbury. These colonizers came over here, they writing back to the Archbishop of Canterbury and shit. They're like, we found Moses' people. They're like, we found the Israelites. They salute to Sammy. Sammy, you're welcome, Sammy. Say the history of ancient America. Published by Longman Brown Green and Longman London. Way in London. Oh, in London again. Just like black Virginians in London, Georgian London tobacco shops. London got a whole bunch about us. That's where that Sadu the Indian come from. So it's all from London, right? London. Yeah, I know y'all know in London. Y'all know who the Nagas is. Y'all know who the real Indians is. The Negro up in London. Look at that. The Negro, black ass Negro. London tell you all about it. Look at that Naga. The Naga say, get some of this smoke. Look at that. They say, look at that. The Black King, Native American drug. Yeah, they know it's the nigga. Black smokers. Native American. London know all about it, and they know you the Israelites. Why don't you just fess up, London? You know what I'm saying? Why don't you just come out and say it, London, plainly? Yeah, look at that. Look at that another end. Look at these knockers. Look at that another nappy-headed niglet. That little niglet, nappy-headed. Look at that. Call him a bone savage. The French stepped in and said that's a bone savage. Yeah, all in London. Look at that. London. Look at that. Yeah, London. What the title of this one? Show y'all this one real quick. Anybody that don't know, wait, one more. Look at that. Oh, that's a king. Look at that. He on the throne. He got a pipe. Look at the colonizer ship in the background. Little niglet. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Look at that. What it say he is? What it say in the description? It say a Native American headdress. Yeah, those are feathers. And sitting on his throne, the royal black male. Who is the royal black male? The Native American. Who the royal black male takes up almost the entire advertisement. The royal black male on his throne. He's a king, a prince, or a king, and he's sporting his Native American headdress. The black royal male Native American. This is in Georgia Tobacco London shops. Pleasures of the smoke. Black Virginians in Georgia, not no red man. Pleasures of the smoke. Black Virginians in Georgian London's tobacco shops. Author Catherine Molino. It's just showing you these old tobacco ads, just like the tobacco statutes, Managa. Connect the dots. They just drawing it on paper. This is not a mistake, Managa. It's you. They know you the Israelite and all. It's you. Subdue the Indian, Managa. Let's get to it. The Black Virginian, the Indian. Subdue the Indian, Managa. And what they just told us on this, what they just told us in the history of ancient America, the identity of the Aborigines, right? Man, this is stupid, man. These people is dumb, man. These people is dumb thinking that they can hide this kind of lie. And Tyria, at the time of Columbus, proving the identities of the Aborigines, the Tyrians and Israelites, the introduction of Christianity. Look into the West. Look, they introduced Zeus. They said, no, forget about that Hawa stuff. Forget about that King David stuff. Y'all need to worship Jesus. Worship this white Zeus. That's what they did to you. They said, forget about that Old Testament with your ancestors in it. They say we'll give you this New Testament, this remix, this King James remix, and we're gonna insert Jesus, because we know Jesus ain't even in the Old Testament. Yeah, Managa, connect these dots, Managa. Connect these dots, Managa. They know it's you. Tobacco ads, tobacco statues. They say these are the Israelites. They say we found them. They say we found Moses. We found the land of the Mexica, Mexico, right smack dab in the middle. And right here we on the Jewish Almanac, 1980. It says identity crisis, a brief history of the term for Jew. It says strictly speaking, it is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite. It is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite. You can't call these people right here a Jew. They say that's not correct. They say it's incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew. They are not Jewish. They are Judah. It say and it's also incorrect. They say it's incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew, or to call a contemporary, a modern, a new hijacked Jew an Israelite. They say that's incorrect. Or Hebrew. They say those are not Hebrews. They say the modern contemporary Jews are not Israelites or Hebrews. And they say the ancient Israelite or Hebrews are not Jews, Managa. Salute. See, this is what Kanye went wrong talking about. Yeah, we Jews too. No, Managa, you Jewed up. They want to be you, Managa. Don't get it twisted. You ain't the ish. You are it. The first Hebrews may have the original, the real, the first original real, all means synonymous. So we could take first out and just put real right there. The real Hebrews may not have been Jews that are not. They know may. Let's take may not out and let's put may not have out. Let's rewrite this in the truth. The real Hebrews are not Jews at all. And contemporary Palestinians, by their own definition of the term Palestinian, may have to include Jew. I ain't gonna even go there. No, we're gonna start here. The real Hebrews are not Jews at all, Managa. You ain't no Jew. They tricked you into Christianity. And that Jewish Almanac of 1980 is from October 1st, 1980. Strictly speaking, it is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew, or to call a contemporary Jew an Israelite or a Hebrew. And right here, just to show y'all the source, I'm just showing y'all the source where you want to get this from. All you got to do is type in, if you want to pull this identity crisis article up, you can put in identity crisis. And after identity crisis, you can put in Jewish Almanac 1980, page 3. You know, it's in their own almanac, Managa. They know that they not the Israelites. It's in their almanac. This is not your almanac. This is not an Israelite almanac. This is a Jewish almanac. See? Jewish almanac. Identity crisis. They're having an identity crisis. I wonder whose identity they stole. Right? All right, so I hope I ain't lose nobody and all that. I know that's a lot. I'm trying to connect some dots. I'm trying to get straight to the point though. In the just like T, I said expeditiously in the expeditious manner, Monaga. But I don't want to lose nobody. I want everybody to stay focused and keep track on what we going with here. Cause now I'm gonna show y'all something else. So let me pause the music. And fair use YouTube, we finna do it for educational purposes. We gonna review a video for educational purposes, YouTube. Don't be hating. Don't try to copyright strike us. Do all that old, all that old YouTube mumbo jumbo y'all like to do. Demonetize and all this demonize. Don't do all that, YouTube. We just trying to learn. We just over here moving in the spirit of truth, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, fair use. We're gonna enact the fair use because we're gonna use some copyrighted materials. Let me pull up the fair use clause real quick. We're gonna use some copyrighted materials, YouTube. So we don't want y'all acting like a little clown about it. We're gonna let y'all know right now it's fair use because we are doing this for educational purposes and we're reviewing the footage. So we're gonna make our own minds up about what we're looking at. We don't need anybody to tell us anything. And like we are not doing it to steal material. We are exercising fair use. So we're gonna pull it up and make sure we have it. Hold on. Man. Come on, hijack. Yeah, we got the fair use on there. Alright, so now let me pull the video up I want to look at, man. Y'all check this out, man. These people know what's going on. Fair use, YouTube. Fair use for educational purposes.
Against the background of rising fear, Jew of Negro and Negro of Jew, a predominantly black junior high school in the Ocean Hill, Brownsville section of New York City began rehearsing Fiddler on the Roof, the long-running Broadway musical about Jewish life in 19th century Russia. The school production precipitated a storm of controversy.
All right, for somebody who's been dead, the Jews have been very afraid, and we have to make it, and when he describes you, very, so we want this to come out gray and dead. Yes, ma'am. Do all the boys have yarmulkes?
Richard Pirro, a 35-year-old music and drama teacher of Italian descent, directed Black Children in a play which deals in part with the injustices suffered by Jews at the hands of the Russians. In a community which has been labeled anti-Semitic, Black children, themselves victims of bigotry, are putting on the beards, sideburns, and yarmulkes of Jews and entering the world of Sholem Aleichem.
So pause it. So they talking they say in a neighborhood with history and anti-Semitic. How can the Shemite be anti-Shemitic? Salute the Drought Nation, 432 Drought. How can the seed of Shem be anti-Shemitic? Anti-Semitic. What is Semitic? A Shemitic, right?
Whose characters are among the most endearing to American Jewry.
What's making you like this? Look, you're not a leading lady. You're not one of the lovers. You're an old lady. You're Granny Oakley. Hey, put my mirror. Where is the rabbi?
Black anti-Semitism, Negro bias against the Jew, the world's most oppressed peoples alienated from each other. What is the reality? At this time, in this country, is the Jew an object of Negro prejudice?
You say, what is the reality, huh? Subliminals, right?
Or is the black man a victim of Jewish racism?
Is the black man a victim of JewLie? Huh? And what we just looked at, hold on. What we just looked at, fair use, hold on. Go back to some. Identity crisis. The ancient Israelite is not a Jew, and the Jew is not an ancient Israelite. Just to remind y'all, I just wanted to remind y'all.
Both charges and both denials.
And now look who they talking about. They what a coinky dink. They happen to be talking about black Americans and Jewish people.
Of the Harry A. Eisman Junior High School, PS 275, and in the streets of one of the nation's most troubled areas, a confrontation between the two affected minorities is being played out.
It's back in 1969, Monaga.
the fall of 1968, the educational system of New York City was brought to its knees by a series of crippling teacher strikes. A fallout effect was a sharpening of racial tensions between two of the city's largest ethnic groups, Negroes and Jews.
Remember though, they telling you a minority, Managa. Well, we know this is a stronghold of the Naga, but I'm just saying, look at the double talk, Managa. Part of the largest racial groups.
3 strikes on the part of some 53,000 teachers, a majority of them Jewish, kept 1,100,000 pupils out of school, a majority of them black and Puerto Rican. The charge was made that Negro anti-Semitism had in fact contributed to the school crisis. Albert Shanker, president of the 55,000-member United Federation of Teachers, the UFT, had the support of a great majority of his teachers throughout the 36-day walkout.
There's been some covert charges of anti-Semitism out in the Ocean Hill-Brownsville district. Could you amplify that for me?
I haven't encouraged that. There's been some material distributed. I don't think anybody has traced it to the governing board.
Oh man, I ain't mean to do that. Hold on. I messed up, y'all. My bad. Hold on. Let me go back. That's my fault.
Between two of the city's largest ethnic groups, Negroes and Jews. 3 strikes on the part of some 53,000 teachers, a majority of them Jewish,
Bay in the house.
kept 1,100,000 pupils
1 million students out of school.
Black and Puerto Rican.
The majority black.
The charge was made that Negro anti-Semitism had in fact contributed to the school crisis. Albert Shanker,
they say
president
Negro
of the
anti. So wait a minute.
United
Pause
Federation
this.
of Teachers, the UF.
They say Negro anti-Semitism shut the school down. Millions set sold school system down. What went down? Excuse me, y'all. 1,000,000-something people, 1,000,000-something students now. They already said they was the majority. So what was going down? Let's see. Fair use, YouTube.
Had the support of a great majority of his teachers throughout the 36-day walkout.
There's been some covert charges of anti-Semitism out in the Ocean Hill-Brownsville district. Could you amplify that for me?
I haven't encouraged that. There's been some material distributed. I don't think anybody has traced it to the governing board. I think that there have been such overtones in a lot of the places where there have been attempts at extremist takeovers. And unfortunately, there seems to be an increase of racial tension wherever you get one of these experimental districts. On the Lower East Side, there's a lot of hate Puerto Rican and hate Chinese and hate black and hate whitey materials. But I don't think that that's the basic issue in this. I think that the concomitant issue in the whole movement for local control is that it does tend to exaggerate racial hostilities.
But thousands of teachers opposed and continue to oppose the official UFT position. Jeff Mackler is the leader of one such dissident group, the New Coalition Party.
The issue was that there was no issue of black anti-Semitism before the strike. The issue was the right of the black and Puerto Rican community to control their schools and nothing else. And in order to
so they wasn't anti-Semitic. So the issue, they weren't so-called anti-Semitic. He said, how can they be anti-Semitic when they are the Israelites? We need our own word. Like they say anti-Semitic, we need to say, okay, if you anti-American Negro, you anti-Israelite, Managa. You anti-Israelite. We need to just do it our own way. But he's saying that the so-called blacks, they wasn't anti-Jewish. They wasn't anti-Semitic or whatever. He said they would just want to run their own schools.
discredit that, Shanker had to prove that the black and Puerto Rican community was incompetent or incapable because of bigotry, extremism, racism, those are terms he used.
The strike was losing popularity.
Of course.
That the whole community control issue was killed by the focus on anti-Semitism, and this was his purpose.
The mayor of the city of New York described our strike as a strike of the teachers against minority groups and black children, and he knew that that was absolute nonsense, and he has created racial warfare in this city.
He was able to appeal to the racism, which
you see what's going on.
Anti-Semitism and the question of teacher rights.
You see what's going on. They want to beat you niggas to the punch. Before you can cry racism, before you can cry that you being subdued and oppressed on your own land, they want to say, "No, we Jewish." They want to say you anti-Semitic. They want to fall on that and shut you up like they shut up Kanye, like they shut up Kyrie. Salute. You see what's going down? This is in 1969, Monaga.
As a cover-up, not necessarily that Shanker himself, was racist.
Yeah, but Wayne, the question is why, for example, why didn't he do this before? Why didn't he, when he decided to do it, why didn't he pick a white community? It was
these
easy to
people
get
are
people
the
out.
original leaders of the victim Olympics, the victim queens and kings. They're always crying victim. They the one doing the most, and the first one crying victim.
Out on strike against Ocean Hill-Brownsville because Ocean Hill-Brownsville was a black community. So there's this whole underlying thing.
We were told that decentralization meant that local governing boards still had to live up to a central contract. But right now it looks as if many of those local boards may rebel and just not obey, and that it may be impossible to have local control in cities without having chaos. I don't think that's been proven yet. So far, only one district out of 33 has acted this way. But it's a pretty bad case.
You think that Shanker isn't more afraid of community control of blacks and community control of whites? I think you're mistaken. If the black issue had not been in this, he never, all the whites would have been delighted to control.
Notice how the conversation went from Jews and blacks to blacks and whites. Salute, pay attention. Pay attention. See how it's like they like to change words. Like that conversation could go from settlers and Indians, next thing you know, settlers and African Americans, settlers and colored peoples, settlers and blacks. It changed the language right in mid-flight, Monaga. Right in mid-flight. And you gotta pay attention to these people that do this. Like I say, this conversation started saying Jews and blacks, and now they implicated whites and blacks. So I guess so you got to be white to be a Jew, huh? You got to be pay attention to that. You got to be white to be a Jew. It's like you got to be white to be an Indian, right? Pay attention. Identity crisis, Monaga. Pay attention.
Control their schools. All these white middle-class mothers have been yelling for years about our lack of education. Suddenly, everybody's defending the system of education. So, basically, it is that he's a racist, and he was appealing to racism.
It's more than that, Wendy, because, people become more and more conservative the more and more frightened they get that their jobs are going to be taken away. Let me finish, Wendy. They're all part of the same society. And it's very easy to say we're afraid of black anti-Semitism, which has much more emotional appeal, than to say we're afraid of losing our jobs, which was really the issue.
On May 1st, 1969, after 6 months of rehearsals, Fiddler on the Roof opened in Brownsville.
Okay, so Fiddler on the Roof. Fiddler on the Roof, if you ain't know, it's like this old play supposed to be about Jewish culture. It's supposed to be like a famous classic play about Jewish culture, right? Now, Pete, what happened about this play?
Teddy Smith, a 14-year-old 8th grade student, was in the starring role of Tevye, a Jewish dairy farmer.
I can tell you in one word. Tradition.
Fair use.
In the play, Tevye's world is constantly threatened by poverty, by the rebellion of his daughters, and in the end by the Russians, who force him and every other Jew in the village to leave. The purpose of the school's production of the play, according to its director, was to effect change, to familiarize black and Puerto Rican students with the best of Jewish traditions.
Was that what it was really all about, though? And while we pause on this frame, y'all see where I got the blended photo on the thumbnail from, right? Salute.
You ask, how did this tradition start? Well, I'll tell you. I don't know. What is the tradition? Because of our traditions, everyone here knows who he is and what God expects him to do.
People at first were horrified that black children were going to be permitted to do a Jewish thing.
Why would they be horrified, Managa? Why would they be horrified when black children doing a quote-unquote Jewish thing or an Israelite thing? Why were they horrified when Kyrie Irving would say, yeah, the blacks in America are God's chosen people, they the Israelites? Why would they be horrified and shut Ye down and take his Adidas contract and everything else and try to ban everybody else that says, yeah, oh, the Nagas in America, they the Israelites? Why were they outraged at some Nagas, some young Nagas in a school play in 1969? Why are they getting the same reaction Ye got?
People were not horrified but shocked when Dolly went all black.
777 in the house, tribe.
And there were a lot of outside people about it. How can you do it? And what they immediately suspected was that they were going to be made fun of, because the black people love to put everybody on, including themselves, and they've been seen to put on the Jews. So the fear on the part of some of our teachers and some of our Jewish members of the community was that this was going to open to ridicule, and they were going to give the kids more weapons in which to ridicule Jews. A friend.
So the truth is a weapon. Like they say, Black Jack, you dangerous, man. You be over there reading. Okay.
A teacher who was a friend of mine, who had a great deal of respect, mutual respect, and he said, I'm going to fight you. He said, I think you're an anti-Semite, and you're an arch anti-Jew. And he said, I'm going to fight you all the way. Okay, hey, I got a class coming in. I think their unwillingness to see black children do a Jewish thing shows not a contempt, but certainly not an equality. No, it shows that they are teaching black children rather than teaching or working with children.
Why they calling them black? No, but they calling yourself a Jew. Did you slid white in there a minute ago? But why you labeling these kids are black? What are their nation? What's their tribe? Huh? These questions you definitely don't want to get into.
Hi, Gregory. Okay. How many of you saw Fiddler on the Roof in the assembly, the little bit that we showed you, 45 minutes last week? Almost everybody. That's right. You did it. You did it in assembly. Okay, I have a question to ask, and I'd like everybody to think about it for a minute. What is Fiddler on the Roof about, Arlene?
Fiddler on the Roof is about Jewish people.
Fiddler on the Roof is about Jewish people.
So why they indoctrinating the babies? 1969, Managa. Indoctrinating the young babies. Indoctrinating the young Nagas. Yeah, what's a Jew? What's this? Ain't that something, that a conversation they should have with their parents? Or their elders, their grandparents? Not some synagogue of Satan, MF. Salute.
How about Dwayne there?
Fiddler on the Roof is about the Jewish people's traditions.
The Jewish people's traditions. Okay, one more. Anyone have anything to add? Anything to add to that? Anything to add, Gregory?
That when the Sabbath, like when they say the Sabbath prayers, that in the play that everybody says it at the same time, like everybody in the whole wide world.
Everybody. Hey, that's very good. You caught that. And with the candles being lit at Sabbath all over the world. Okay, do you find it strange to see black and Puerto Rican children playing Jews? Do you find it funny?
No.
Okay, Reggie, being very honest, as only Reginald Barrett can be.
Why would he ask such an indoctrinating question? To ask, do you find it funny? That's to imply there's something funny about it. But the kids more intelligent than the so-called adult. They said, no, we don't find anything funny about it. Salute to the children.
What was your opinion of Jews before we started this project, Fiddler on the Roof? And is it the same now? And if not, how has it changed?
Well, I didn't have nothing against Jews before. In some ways I did. Like in some of my classes, you know, the teachers act like they prejudice against the Negroes. But now,
notice how in 1969, the young man said the Negroes. He didn't call himself an African American. He didn't call himself black. He said the Negroes, right? Which we understand Negro is code word for black or whatever, but still.
Since I have a part in a Jewish play, I think that, I would say, like a lot of people say, one of my best friends is a Jew.
What do you think of Tevye as a man?
He tried to keep the peace between the Russians and the Jews of Anatevka and the tradition among the people of Anatevka.
See, and the whole story that they doing the play is indoctrinating. And he's reciting the story. He was in the play. But it's an indoctrinating story to give them a set of beliefs or belief systems using conceptual art, basically, using the concept art. Trick him out of understanding that he is the tribe of Judah.
At
a young age.
He's a nice person in general, but he's
in fact,
too much with the
not
good
only
book.
tricking him out of the fact that he is the tribe of Judah, he is the Israelite. Not only tricking this young Nog out of that, indoctrinating him and tricking him and believing that ain't no way in hell he could be that. Teaching him that people are horrified.
As the good book says,
Reggie, if Tevye was alive and well and living on Sackman or Amboy Street here in Brownsville, how do you think he would react to what's going on around him?
Well, in the times of their days, they would move every few years. But if he was living around here now, he'd be moving a different place every day.
Why? Because
if he can find a hole or something someplace. Because right now, there ain't no place to live. You ask me why?
Right.
Well,
fair
most
use.
of the people, Negroes and Puerto Ricans and Jews, are discriminating against each other. And I would say he wouldn't find a real good place to stay. And the people, his surrounding people wouldn't agree with nothing he said because he probably would be still, sticking with the tradition.
Fair use, educational purposes. Great day teaching 777. Salute.
It's absolutely fantastic the way these kids have latched on to doing the Jewish thing. I don't know, someone said their mothers were domestics and they picked it up there, but I don't see how a 14-year-old can pick up a mother's experience. I haven't said one word about accents, inflections, or gestures, have not done a thing, and yet these children, according to the Jewish members of the faculty who have seen them, are so real. It's
I wonder why, Monaga. I wonder why. Out his mouth, not mine. He said this was so real. Salute the bronze flat power god. He said this was so real. He said they couldn't have got it from their mama. It's in their blood. Monaga, salute.
It's like being in, not Anatevka, it's more like being in a neighborhood in Queens.
I have a perfect match for your son. A wonderful girl. Who is it? Rocco, the shoemaker's daughter. Rocco, she can hardly see. She's almost blind. Well, tell the truth, Abram. Is your son so much to look at? The way she sees and the way he looks is a perfect match.
Told me to act like my mother, talk a lot. And I did that, and he said I had the part.
Well, I hope she ain't for Jewish, but she really acts like one. I see her at night in the play.
Not a Jew, Managa, an Israelite, Managa. Understand that. Not a Jew, an Israelite.
Who she was? I thought she raised her with a Jew up there because she's all dressed up.
Mr. Gordon Carter's daughter, Olga, plays the part of Yenta, the matchmaker.
And I'm glad she could play something besides what she is.
Mrs. Lillian Carter was one of the parents who insisted the play be allowed to go on.
Over the years, I said, and I'll say again, Al Jolson painted his face black, and he made loads of money. They painted themselves black. They went across the country and the minstrel shows. And who knew Amos and Annie before television? The two characters that played Amos and Annie on television.
Great point Mama made. Salute. She say, oh, y'all can paint y'allself black, do minstrel shows, and, you know, call us nigglets and call us,
Au bon sauvage. Au négré l'Amérique.
Call us all kind of names. But as soon as we say we the Israelites, as soon as our children just do an innocent schoolyard play, all hell break loose. As soon as Kanye say, soon as Ye say, yeah, the blacks is the Israelites. As soon as Kyrie say, yeah, the blacks is the Israelites. All hell. Why? I wonder why.
Television never played on radio. They were white fellas. And no one put up a kick about it. They made millions of dollars. No one kicked about it.
Hey, salute Quiet Storm Shine in the house. Salute Tribe Book.
Or a Negro, why can a Negro pretend they're Jewish for change? And let's have a little fun about it.
Well, he got swag with it. Look at
that. A Russian, once hostile to Jews, but later a suitor of a Jewish girl.
They had swag like that.
Before the play, I wasn't too particular about Jews, but, you know, now I'm doing it now. I'm still not too...
Hey, hold on. Shorty right here, I like Shorty. Shorty probably alive today. Hey, whoever this little young naga was right here, man, if you alive today and you happen to see the chat, man, hit me up in the side. This little naga here funny.
Particular about him, but I
treat him the way they treat me.
I was glad to be a Russian to take it out of your Jews at the play. At the beginning, all right.
Before we had to play, Linus used to start in with me, call me Jew boy, a lot of the times before the play, like in the halls and things like that. But now right after the play, he understood what the Jews were living like and everything about the Jews. And he started respecting the Jews, you know, not just cursing anybody out.
The thing is that since the play, you know, the play is good for a number of reasons. It brings out a good point in culture of the Jewish people, brotherhood and whatnot.
So you saying you ain't got nothing against the Jews?
It all depends on what kind of Jew it is.
You big dummy. You big dummy.
Hold on, wait a minute. Shorty say, so you saying you ain't got nothing? Kids is honest, man. What the thing about kids, boy? They speaking honesty. Kids move in the spirit of Elijah, man.
If black parents in the beleaguered Ocean Hill, Brownsville district were willing, indeed eager, to let their children perform what is generally considered a Jewish play, the question has been raised, why did so many Jewish teachers reject the idea?
There were two specific complaints. One was that fiddler shows...
Why did so many reject the idea? Let's remind them and we'll come back. Let's remind them why so many identity crisis from the Jewish Almanac. A brief history of the terms for Jew. Strictly speaking, it is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew, or to call a modern Jew an Israelite or a Hebrew. Salute. That's why. That's why. Knock it off.
Jews as docile. And some people did not
salute
want
the
this
Lovelace in the house. Salute.
A black and Puerto Rican community. The idea of the docile Jew who accepts all kinds of harassment from the authorities. And the other was they did not want us to profane sacred garments. And they
profane sacred garments? What about profaning the identity? You profaning our identity. You want to be us so bad. You want to sit on the throne of the seed of the Most High. You want to be the chosen seed. You cannot be that. Your bloodline is tainted. You got Neanderthal DNA. You got Denisovan blood. You ain't no original man. Your blood don't match up to Albert Perry. How can it be you? It can't be.
Typically mention yarmulkes and prayer shawls.
Olga came home stating that the show was off because Dr. Rubin said the community did not want to play. I said, why do you think then that Fiddler was of a Jewish culture, that it wouldn't be good for the Negro children and the Puerto Rican children?
Possible attitude. We've given the blacks everything that we have. Let's save something. Let's just save our...
You see, look at what the hypocrisy. They gave the blacks everything. You mean you took everything from us, including our identity, our land, our heritage, our title? Look at the man. This is worthy of death.
Now who sent you, nigga?
Yeah, the audacity. Own precious, sacred tradition and sacred culture. Let's have an oasis that's ours that they can never get.
Hold on, man. Did y'all hear what this synagogue of Satan cracker just said?
That Fiddler was of a Jewish culture, that it wouldn't be good for the Negro children and the Puerto Rican children.
Possible attitude. We've given the blacks everything that we have. Let's save something. Let's just save our own precious, sacred tradition and sacred culture. Let's have an oasis that's ours that they can never get.
That we can never get, huh? What's already ours. They say you Nagas could never get this. And we're not Jewish. No, we're talking the real tribe of Judah. We're talking the real children of Israel. Not you.
Reggie Moritz, come on. Do your thing.
203 Low Gang in the house. Salute, tribe up.
Fiddler on the Roof is a play. But in New York's Ocean Hill, Brownsville, it represented more than that. There is another drama within. Perchik is a Jewish revolutionary in love with Tevye's daughter, Huddle. Bound to their own ghetto, inextricably for too many, these children speak of another ghetto and a people persecuted because they were different.
Tribe up,
it's a dialogue they know too well.
Why should I be upset? If you must leave, you must.
I do have to. They expect me here tomorrow morning.
So you told me, then goodbye.
Great changes are about to take place in this country. Tremendous changes. But they can't happen by themselves.
So you feel that...
Not only me. Many people. Jews, Gentiles. Many people hate what's going on. You understand?
Yes. Goodbye.
Otto, your fathers, the others here, think what happened at Sider's wedding was a little cloudburst. And it's all over, and everything will be peaceful again.
Fair use.
Whoa, horrible things will be happening all over the land.
Pogrom, violence, whole villages being emptied of their people. And it's reaching everywhere, and soon it will reach here. You understand?
Throughout months of rehearsal, the Harry A. Eisman Junior High School, PS 275, was not the only institution interested in this production of Fiddler on the Roof. Rabbi Alan Miller, spiritual leader for the Society of the Advancement of Judaism Synagogue, and Reverend William A. Jones, Jr., minister of Brooklyn's Bethany Baptist Church, were invited to see a rehearsal.
Have you seen the Broadway production of Fiddler?
No, unfortunately, I missed it.
You know, I was thinking while watching Perchik and Huddle that a black boy who has played the role of a Jew on any level must have an insight into the Jewish character and the psyche than someone who hasn't done that. And in other words, what we have here is we have a group of black children who I imagine know as few Jewish children as I know Baptists. Let's face it, you're the first Baptist minister I've spoken to for 5 minutes.
Why would Israelite children know Jewish children? Israelites and Jews are not the same. Let's remind them one more time for anybody who's just arriving. Let's remind them one more time. On the Jewish Almanac, a brief history of the term. Identity crisis, Jewish Almanac. Identity crisis, a brief history of the terms for Jew. It is incorrect. Strictly speaking, it is incorrect to call an ancient Israelite a Jew or to call a contemporary Jew an Israelite. It is incorrect. An Israelite and a Jew is not the same. Salute. So why would Israelite children know Jewish children?
Since I came to America 8 years ago. So it's second best. What they're doing is their teachers are trying to introduce them to a Jewish culture as it was 100 years ago. And I presume one of the side effects of all this is going to be...
Why would Israelite children need anything from a Jewish culture when you hijacked ours, when you just want to be us?
They're going to feel more empathy with the Jewish situation. Now, this may be a way of coping with the problem of black anti-Semitism, getting young blacks to know a little more about the Jewish psyche. But Jews have also got to empathize with the blacks because this is going to cure Jewish racism, which, let's face it, exists.
So wait a minute, blacks and Jews. Who are the blacks, and what color is the Jews? You want to label us by a color, and you want to call yourself a Jew? What are we talking here? Tribe up. What are we talking? You mean the blacks are the Israelites? You mean the Israelites and the Jews? That's why you want to call us black?
Recognize that this is really just the beginning. I have serious doubts about the ability to stage integration. Justice expresses itself in real human relationships, not merely on a stage.
I don't know what the relative strength of the black anti-Semitism.
I see an Israelite and I see a Jew. I see an Israelite and I see a Jew. I see an Israelite and I see a Jew. I see an Israelite and I see a Jew. There's a difference, Managa. There's definitely a major difference, Managa. Definitely a major difference. I see an Israelite and I see a Jew.
The Jewish racism are, but there's no question at all in my mind that there are Jews who feel as strongly about black people as there are black people who feel strongly and badly about Jews.
You raised the question of
why wouldn't Israelites feel strongly and badly about Jews when you stealing our identity? You tried to steal our land and enslave us on our own land. You tried to do us on our own land. You're still trying to do us wrong on our own land. Why wouldn't we?
Black anti-Semitism and Jewish racism. I think that this thing of black anti-Semitism is really a myth.
It's a myth.
I don't think blacks and Jews have been together enough
Israelites and Jews
to develop any kind of genuine hostilities. There might be certain suspicions.
Between Israelites and Jews.
There might be
not blacks and Jews, Israelites and Jews.
Distrust and mistrust.
Stop talking in color. Let's talk in tribe.
Overt anti-Semitism does not exist from where I sit.
Well, I wish I could believe that. Let me tell you that of the 21 million Negroes.
He said he wish he can believe that. Now what he's saying about the 21 million
in
Negroes?
America, I believe that the bulk of those people are honest, God-fearing citizens. It's a minority of I don't want to use the word militant because I understand from a black man's point of view, the militants are asking some of the right questions about Americans.
Definitely asking the right questions. We're talking about Israelites and Jews. We ain't talking blacks and Jews. Let's get it right, because we just saw that in the Jewish almanacs that Israelite and the Jew is two different people. So we ain't talking, you ain't gonna just try to slide in the color on us and call us black. We talking Israelites and Jews. We talking tribes. And a Jew is a misnomer for you, because we know when we say Jew, we know we just talking Ashkenaz. We know we just talking Ashkenaz, the seed of Japheth. We talking Japhethites, not no Shemites. So you want to say the Israelites are anti-Japhetic? Is that what you really want to say? You want to call us anti-Japhethite? You want to call yourself Jewish? You the seed of Ashkenaz? You a descendant of Ashkenaz? Ashkenaz is the descendant of who? Japhet? How can you be an Israelite when you descend from Japhet? Bloodline of Japhet. How can you be an Israelite when you are a descendant of Ashkenaz, of Japhet? It's not you.
Society today.
No question about it.
So, in other words, the militants, the good, non-racist militants are unquestionably the people who are the leadership in the black community today. There are unquestionably some people who come out with anti-Semitic statements and some with anti-Semitic leaflets. Of course, it doesn't help when a teachers' union picks up a pamphlet which was originally printed in 2,000 circulation and prints 500,000 of them and circulates it itself. When you're involved in a power struggle, it seems to me rather below the belt to use the outpourings of some illiterate moron in some basement in Harlem and fan that out of all proportion to the realities.
Leslie Campbell teaches Afro-American history at Junior High School 271,
you big dummy.
some 2 miles from the Harry A. Eisman School.
See, this is the trouble with Jews on the main, is that they object to words. You see, we're not concerned with words. Like, you can call me nigger and, you know, any other types of derogatory words which you think are suitable for black people, which you have been calling me for years. But we don't want to get uptight about the words. We say the words. We're talking about power. We're not dealing with words. Words are nothing at this point. And this is what I think a lot of Jews are hung up on. They hung up on words. But we know that while they're objecting to the words, they still maintain the power. They still maintain the control. This whole stir is a smokescreen, and we see through that. We see by the smokescreen, and we know what the real issues are. The main question here is the self-determination of black and Puerto Rican people. It's not any question of anti-anything. I think that when we begin to investigate all of the injustices against black people and get those cleared up, then we can, you know, possibly at a 2,000-year date, because that's how long it'll take.
See, we gotta correct this, black people, this and that. You talk tribe when you talking them. You call them Jewish, you call them Ashkenaz, you call them by their tribe. Would you call yourself black, Managa? Tribe up.
Clear up all those injustices, then we can take the injustices of the others.
Just one day before Fiddler on the Roof was to open in Ocean Hill, Brownsville, hundreds of black students demonstrated against what they considered repressive policies on the part of the school's administration. On the stage of Junior High School 275, a Russian constable tells Tevye and the villagers that there will be a demonstration.
Fair use.
Oh, Tevye, I have a piece of news that I think I should tell you. As a friend.
Yes, Your Honor?
And I'm giving you this news because I like you. You are a decent, honest person, even though you are a Jew.
How often does a man get a compliment like that?
Notice that he wiped his shoulder off after he touched his shoulder. Slick shit.
And the news. We have received orders that sometime soon, this district is to have a little unofficial demonstration.
A program? Here? Dear God, did you have to send me news like this? Today of all days?
It's true, we are the chosen people. But couldn't you choose someone else for a while?
Chosen people, Managa, salute. That's what they hate that. That right there. I'm gonna have to cut that and put that on. I'm gonna have to use that. They hate that, Managa. That right there, that make the devil blood boil, Managa. That make the synagogue of Satan blood boil, Managa, right there. They hate that.
To the golden land they came.
Acknowledging that you are the chosen seed. It's power in your words, Managa, and understanding who you really are. The Most High waiting on you to speak up.
The Jewish masses yearning to breathe free. They came to New York's Lower East Side and to Brooklyn, immigrants making cities of melting pots. These were slums then, but bearable then. For then, there was room to maneuver, room to grow.
When a Naga say we the chosen people, man, that put fear in them, man. That put fear in their heart, man. Do you understand the power in that, man? It put power in you and it put fear in them, man. They shaking in their boots if when you say that, man. They don't want you to speak that.
They did what they could. They began the slow climb up the ladder. And within 50 years, most of the Jews had climbed out, leaving Negroes and Puerto Ricans, and the remnants of a culture no longer dominant, no longer relevant to the new ethnic composition.
New ethnic composition, what they mean by that?
There's one next door, and that man is nagging and so crabby and whatnot. And there's another guy named Marshall. He's a nice guy.
I think that it did have something to do with the fact that I was black and he was Jewish. I guess
see that the indoctrination that I was black and he was Jewish. See the indoctrinations. Oh, Manaka, you the Israelite, Manaka.
Stayed with black people before, and that he just felt uncomfortable because he wasn't surrounded by white people.
See how he slid white in there when he referring to Jewish, white. See the color lines
Having
being
left
drawn.
their ghetto, what did the Jews leave behind? What every advancing ethnic group has left, a place less inhabitable.
It looked like a war been through there. What really happened back then? What really went down?
The ownership, most of it absentee, of stores and dwellings. Hostilities,
those are
were left
ruins.
behind.
That looked like a war zone. Those are ruins, Managa.
Tensions long simmering, but now out in the open. For as the sociologist and city planner, Herbert Gans, has pointed out, owners of tenements and stores, whatever their race and religion, often exploit the slum dwellers, whatever their race and religion.
They come in our neighborhood and they take up our stores and be working in these stores and we cheating them and cheat all the little Negro kids because, you know, they think they don't know nothing. And it happened to me one time, and there was this Jewish man. He worked in our store, and now he's out because the Negro people courted him.
There's one Jew that I like in the school, and he's a man. His name is Mr. Hersison. He's my math teacher.
The problem in New York City stems not only...
That's why you need daddy in the house, man. That's why we need the father in our homes, man. We need our fathers in our homes to check our children, to keep our children in check, to keep our young daughters in check, our sons in check. You need that man in the house to run shit when it comes to these kids. So when she talking about a Jewish man at her school, let me go up here and see who this Jewish man is. Salute.
Alone from the ethnic composition of the neighborhoods, but also
Soul
from
Man
a
Radio in the
preponderance
house,
of Jewish teachers in black areas who have the support and sympathies of many Jewish parents in the white areas.
I'm on the teacher's side. I don't think any teacher can walk into a school and be called a white pig or anything else and have to go in and teach. These are not circumstances in which a teacher can properly teach.
Do you think this is a racist issue?
Yes, it has come down to a racist issue. It most certainly has.
What evidence do you have to support this?
I have a paper here in my hand with direct quotations of threats from the governing board of Ocean Hill, Brownsville.
What
you are a white pig, a faggot, a racist. You are an enemy of my people.
Who supposedly said that?
I bet a white person wrote that. I guarantee you a false flagger wrote that. In
the Ocean
blackface.
Hill, Brownsville section.
It's black power versus white power now.
Cause
you think that's what it's
discord.
boiled down to? Well, that's what they want it to be. They say they want the black power, and they want to rule. So then now the white have to rule also.
Rabbi Alan Miller.
Now, what is the problem here? Under normal circumstances, those Jewish teachers who are being pressured to move over would automatically, in terms of previous succession programs, move up into other areas. What's happening now, because of automation and because of the problem of the economic situation, there's no place for these teachers to go. so they are pressured and they're fighting for death.
Why don't they go teach their own Jewish children? Why do they have to be teaching on Israelite children in 1969? Why are Ashkenazi Jewish teachers teaching Israelite children? Huh? Make that make sense. And you see the children shut the school down.
Now, the Jewish people can't solve that problem. We can't create new schools. We can't create new jobs for these Jews. The whole community, let's say in New York City, for example, although I'm sure this problem is the same in other parts of the country. I understand in New Orleans it's an Italian problem, where the black people are facing the Italians. And in Los Angeles and San Francisco, it's the black people facing the Chinese. In New York, it happens to be a Jewish problem because the WASPs, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, have been sitting on the power and on the money. The Jew hasn't been able to move higher. I think we've got to bring in the people who really control the city and say it's your responsibility too to see that we create more jobs so that the succession process can move through more easily.
Reverend Jones.
I think that the establishment in New York City is a white establishment. There are Jews and Gentiles who make up that establishment.
A Jew is a Gentile. Salute. He ain't an Israelite. Therefore, he is a Gentile. He's from the isles of the Gentile. He's the seed of Japhet. He's an Ashkenazi Jew. He's a Gentile.
I have serious reservations about a kind of gradualism which I detect in your formula for social change.
Why do you say I am suggesting a gradualism? What I'm saying is that for the next 5 or 10 years, I want to do everything in my power to make it possible in New York City for black men to be in control of their own destiny right up to the point where it begins to
look at how he studied his racist ass. He said right up into the point. Up until what point? To the Naga take his land back? Right up into the point of what? You want to bastardize us? You want to call us black? You want to rob us of our inheritance, of our father, of our land, right? See, when you call somebody a color and not by their nation or their tribe, you robbing them of their land inheritance, Managa. They don't call Africans black. They call those people Africans, letting you know they have a land inheritance. You are the only one being called black, straight up by a color. What a coinky dink. Why? To rob you of your land and of your identity, to bastardize you. George Bush III in the house. Salute, tribe up.
To get hurt in the process.
No, I didn't say that. I believe that people are going
but
to
what about teachers who are presently?
I must tell you quite frankly that I think some Jewish teachers are going to have to move over. Now, the question is, what do we do with them? I think the Jewish community has a responsibility.
Yeah, go teach your own damn children.
Was that the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant community also has a responsibility. I know that no black man is going to be so stupid if he has to choose between a bad black teacher and a good Jewish teacher to choose the bad black teacher. That would be criminal.
See that? See the indoctrination to imply, to say that a so-called black man would choose a bad black teacher over a good Jewish teacher. That's making the implication that black teachers are bad, Jewish teachers are good. You're making that subconscious. See, I know about these psychological mind games they playing with words. These words, these spells that they try to say. People, he said that that's to get you to have a concept in your mind that the Jew. Why didn't he say a good black teacher over a bad Jew teacher? Why didn't he put it that way? Because it would imply that Jewish teachers are bad. See, you got to be careful when people talk and they're speaking in the double tongue. You got to really listen to what they're saying to really get a gist of what kind of games they playing. All this is psychological games.
Almost impinge on...
But you don't want anybody to get hurt in the process.
No, I didn't say that. I believe that people are going
but
to...
what about teachers who are presently...
I must tell you quite frankly that I think some Jewish teachers are going to have to move over. Now, the question is, what do we do with them? I think the Jewish community has a responsibility, but what I was trying to suggest was that the white Anglo-Saxon Protestant community also has a responsibility. I know that no black man is going to be so stupid if he has to choose between a bad black teacher and a good Jewish teacher to choose the bad black teacher.
See, implying that the black teacher, and then implying that the so-called black person is stupid. See, this is how you try. This is why I use
you big dummy.
I throw you big dummy in there to show people how foolish you are to believe certain things that you've been led to believe since we were children. I use that on purpose. That's a psychological tag. When I'm proving that the $5 red man is the fake Indian, and I throw you big dummy in there, and I show you some evidence, it adds to the impact of the evidence. So to say you are a so-called black man is stupid if he picks a bad black teacher over a good Jew teacher. You got a lot of subliminal implications, a lot of indoctrination and brainwashing going on in that one statement. And what you don't understand is I've studied this kind of stuff, psychological warfare.
So that would be criminal. You don't think that would be criminal?
No.
You don't think it would be criminal to have a bad black teacher?
I'm not saying that. You misinterpret.
Then to say it would be criminal, to imply that it would be a crime. Loaded. That statement is loaded.
Well, how do you, Reverend Jones, how do you feel about that?
Salute to Miss Geechee God in the house, tribal.
Unfortunately, this is one of the fallout effects of racism.
It's not good for the children.
It may not be good intellectually.
Look at his posture. Look at the Israelite and the Jew. The Israelite, and then look at the posture of the Jew. He looks sly as a fox. He look like something up his sleeve. Look how he's leaning back. Look at his body language, man.
Good.
Look at the smirk on his face.
Jeffrey, what about the kids now?
Wendy Lerman speaks for the new Coalition Party, a group opposed to the United Federation of Teachers.
But you think this talk has had no effect at all among blacks, just as we're talking now the effect it's had upon Jews, and that it let go the whole flood of anti-blackness that they felt. Now, what about the kids who have been hearing what's going on? Do you think this has had no effect on them?
Exactly.
It has had an effect upon them.
There are no blacks who are oppressing Jews, and that is very clear. And we've got to tell this to teachers whether they want to hear it or not. I mean, the analogy has been made, well, look at Germany, we can't let this happen because once there's one bit of anti-Semitism, then it blows up and, you'll have another Germany. Well, this is not the case here.
You see, you got to understand one thing when you talk about anti-Semitism. If you don't get that one point straight, we can't have any discussion on it that's realistic. There is no black anti-Semitism. Right. That's all there is to it. When I went to Boston,
that's a sound bite right there.
To the school teachers there, the issue was that the blacks were anti-Irish because there were no Jews in the Boston school system. They were Irish. And in Washington, the blacks are anti-something else, and everywhere else. The point is, in every case, the common denominator is that the victims of rotten education, of racist institutions, are being called the oppressors.
The difference, though, you cannot say there's no anti-Semitism. There is anti-Semitism, but there are different kinds and qualities of anti-Semitism historically. There is no political black anti-Semitism.
Well,
socially, there is. And I think when you talk about the school system and the issue of anti-Semitism, Shanker turned it into a political argument. He did not deal with the fact that socially, yes, anti-Semitism exists. It will always exist as long as Jews and blacks and everyone else are marginal in a society.
Linus, let me ask you a question. Why is it on anywhere I go, I see that anybody walking in the street, I pass by and I say, Jew boy. Now, he can be any religion. Why do they say Jew boy? Because the Negroes are against the Jews all the way?
He lying. He ain't walking down no street and nobody hollering Jew boy, his little porky pig looking ass.
To call him Jew boy. Can't say, you can't disregard him if he doesn't say nothing to you. Just walking
Jews. But the boy don't have nothing to say because he's not Jewish, so he won't answer, right?
All right, so why do they calling him it off? Why don't they say, could you please give me a time or something? Like they go down and say, Jew boy, can I please have the time?
Well, he might just look around.
That shit sound fake as hell.
You've been doing it to us for 300 years, so why can't we do it to you?
Try, boy. Hey, my boy say 300 years. He said, y'all been fucking with us 300 years.
You big dummy.
Salute. Now you want to cry like a little bitch.
Having, instead of calling us Jew boy, can we please have a time? Can you say, can we please have a time or something?
And you outnumbered.
That still wants the same question. Why should we be nice to you? If I go in the office and I want a job, or you want a job, who get it first?
That's my naga right there. He said, why should we be nice to you? That's my little naga there. He in the spirit of blackjack. Naga right there. I like that little Naga there.
Anybody, doesn't matter.
That you look
Negro,
at.
white,
You're not trying to fool. You ain't fooling nobody.
You ain't fooling nobody. Sound bite.
You can't say that.
That's a sound
I'm
bite.
definitely not.
I gotta get that. He said you ain't fooling nobody.
James, in class, would I go to you and say, hey, nigga? Did I ever do that?
No, because there's 20 other niggas right beside
He got his fist in there and say 20 other Nagas gonna be on your ass.
But if it was 20 whites beside you, you say it, right?
No, I would not.
Yeah, whatever.
I was in school, in public school, and I never said that. And there was 20 other whites and 20 other niggas there.
Because just like you said, you wouldn't call him a nigga because there's 20 others around you. And plus that, that's why I think, because you're saying everything you're saying now, because look what's around you.
Yep. You have to understand where the Jews really
I like
stand.
little Shorty said you ain't fooling nobody. You talking about 20 whites and 20 niggas. You popping out right now, and the only reason you doing it, cause these folks in here with these cameras and shit.
Now who sent you, nigga?
And have stood for a long time vis-a-vis the black man. And the truth is that what we heard, that we did hear Schwarzer, and that the funny thing is that particularly the middle-class Jew, who's a teacher now, lives in a very protected world. All of a sudden they hear the voice from the blacks. One guy gets up and says something about the dirty Jews or the Jews that are controlling the system, and everybody, all
Kanye, Yeezy.
the Jews get uptight about it.
I don't even think Yeezy was born yet.
This guy be anti-Semitic. They were willing to accept anti-Semitic generals, anti-Semitic bankers, anti-Semitic anything. But how dare this black man be? This is so racist in itself. This is one of the things that we're dealing with, is that the attitude of the Jewish middle-class person who just can't buy anti-Semitism from a black man.
I think what you were saying before about all of a sudden now they can't accept black people expressing anti-Semitism is because these are the people who they were able to, project all their hatred onto. And now, who are these people who aren't even establishment, who can turn to them and say, call them kike and whatnot? It's all of a sudden switching roles. Not only the establishment who's looking down on them, but the people who they consider beneath them are looking down on them also. I think that's why, they're getting so uptight about black people being anti-Semitic.
See, for a long time, they've been wearing two hats as far as black people are concerned.
Fair use.
On one hand, they've been saying to black people that, we understand your problem, we suffered with you, we suffered in Europe, we were persecuted by Hitler, and all of these, credentials that they are wielding in order to become members of the Sufferers Club, you see. But on the other hand, they are engaging in large real estate holdings and other types of capital assets in which actually accrue profits from the exploitation of black people and
the
other
Israelites.
oppressed people, in this case
Exploiting
blacks
the
and Puerto
Israelites.
Ricans in this city.
Subduing the
So
Israelites.
I think that from this, people are beginning to see that, wait a minute, what's going on here? Here we see a man that's saying one thing, and on the other hand, we look around and here he's got his hand out doing another thing. So I think that people are becoming much more aware of this, and those Jews who are professed to be our so-called allies in the past have been forced into a either-or position, and most of them have fled our camp and, joined the camp of the power structure at this time.
Now, I'll tell you some of the reasons that blacks against white.
Oh, my noggin.
All right? When I'm speaking of white, I mean a Jew. Now, if I ever come to your house, you offer me food, right? If you eating, right? You offer me a place to sit down, right? And you wouldn't tell me to wash dishes, right? You come to my house, I don't have no food to give you, right? And you see rats running, right? And you see broken furniture, right? So there's your difference. There's a lot of anti-Semitism.
Damn, Monaga made that shit so simple.
Because there's a lot of black people. And then they feel bad towards a lot of Jewish people.
Big eyes.
In the play,
Monaga say that's the
Tevye
difference
cannot
right
accept
there.
the Russian boy, can never forgive his daughter for marrying him. The attitudes of one of the great characters in Jewish literature reveal a hardness appropriate to Anatevka, but outmoded in today's ghetto.
What were you and he talking about? Nothing. We were just talking. Papa, Becca and I known each other for a long time, and I would be much happier if you and he remained friends from a distance. You must not forget who you are and who that man is. He has a name, Papa. Of course, all creatures on earth have a name. Becca is not a creature. Becca is a man. Who says he isn't? It's just that he's a different kind of a man. As the good book says, a bird may love a fish, but where do they build a home together? The world is changing, Papa. No, Kava.
No, it ain't.
No. Some things do not change for us. They will never. We don't feel that way. We? Becca and I, we want to be married. Are you out of your mind? Do you know what this means, marrying outside of the faith?
Marrying outside of the tribe, my nigga. The Israelites are not mixed out. Now you might have a small percentage of our people, you know, that crossing on the other side. But for the majority, over 95%, the tribe ain't mixed out. Never. Never that.
No, Kava, I said no. Never talk to me about this again. Never mention his name again. Never see him again. Never. Do you understand me?
Yeah, you wasn't just mixing out the Israelites. Even when Moses was married to the Cushite woman, he ain't even want to have a seed with her, and that's what led to him leaving there. Moses wanted a woman from his tribe.
Stephen Hirsch, who plays a Russian, is one of some 50 Jewish children attending the Harry A. Eisman Junior High School. His father is a decorated Marine sergeant just home from Vietnam.
Why do they hate you, Stephen?
They're so small.
Is that the only reason?
That's what I think. Because I'm small and white. And they most of the kids think most of the whites are Jewish, and they
Look at
pick
this
on them
hook
for that
nose and
reason.
muffin.
And we have this cop named Sam in the school.
Hook nose,
doesn't do
hook ear.
anything. Whenever something happens,
Funny
he just
looking.
sits there and does nothing. Teachers are scared to do anything about it because if a colored parent comes up or they get threatened by somebody, they're scared. They don't want to be involved.
Have I ever taught you to dislike anyone because of their race, color, or creed?
No.
Has this house ever been closed to anybody because of their race, color, or creed?
It's very friendly.
It don't matter, your system is.
Into this house.
We're not really against them. They're going against us after all that we gave them.
Look,
You know, they're teaching.
we're not really against them, but they're going against us. See that? Lies. We're not really against them. Yes, you are. And then you talking about after all you gave us. No, after all you took. He's been indoctrinated. You got a young Gentile boy, young Japhetite, who's been indoctrinated.
Things that we did to them, they're just going against us.
You put somebody on your feet and you go, and that's all. You don't have to come back.
Look at him.
and
His
say,
mom
well,
and his
look, I
daddy
want
look
some
like
more,
brothers and
because nobody
sisters.
came back. Nobody gave me a pushing hand. I got where I am today.
Look at that, man. We talking mankind, man. Look at these so-called people. From their kid, look at the shape of their ears, their skull shape. You're talking about original man or mankind. This can't be the chosen people. Ain't no way in hell. This ain't even original man. This is something else.
Working for it.
But some of them don't want to work hard for a living.
They're better. Because they don't do
Why should they better? Why should they
Cleft lip, have look at you can tell he almost got a cleft lip. Look at that.
The government's just wasting their money on this welfare program.
Look at his lip,
Why can't
cleft
they-
lip. The genetics is way flawed. Look at his ears, man. He look like a damn what they call him? He look like a pixie or some kind of shit. Look just weird as hell. That's not a man. That's kind of like a man. Mankind, a little bit mixed with something else.
Just give them jumps and let them
He
go.
claimed
to
he
work.
Judah though.
Why should we pay our taxes to support them?
I tell you, I put it to you this way. I'm anti-Semitic about you as much as you are about me. 90% of blacks are anti-Semitic and proud. Are you part of that 90%? No comment.
You can't take it out on the whole Jew race.
I don't know. We're learning your culture and your people's culture. Like you should be learning our people's culture, right?
I'm really kind of fed up with they're teaching them with something I don't want to learn about. Well, sometimes, like say in my social studies class.
He look dead almost, man. What the hell am I looking at here?
About Afro culture.
Look at man, look at this shit, man. Let me put. He like he just popped up out of casket. He like Casper the Ghost.
I'm very stupid to this.
I don't know either. They're teaching about culture in Africa, how they lived.
Now see, y'all should have never start hating us, man. Cause for one, we were peaceful people for the most part. We wasn't even paying y'all no attention. But you want to bring us this hate now, we gonna point out everything. Your little funny little wizard little looking ass like a dead wizard.
What kind of food
you want to exercise hate, we can go there.
Religion, say
certain times of the year,
look at his mama, look at her funny face, look at his daddy, man, with that soup bowl.
Because it has no use to us. Because who says we're gonna go down to Africa?
Look at his daddy arms, man. What's going on over here, man? This is genetic flaws. This is kind of like a man. This is when you got ape in your ancestry, Managa. This is when your kin folks is all in caves having sex with animals. Bestiality, Managa. This is what you get.
You get tested on that?
None of us.
In other words, it's just thrown in there to fill in space?
Why should we learn about their culture? It's hard enough that we have to worry about what's going on in the United States and the problem in schools.
Now go back where you came from.
But the problem in the schools, the problem of how black students shall be educated and by whom, is a fundamental part of the controversy between Negroes and Jews.
His little weak body ass. His little weak body. He look like one of them little noggers get hold of him, man, and hit him with a left hook or something. He might just die. His little frail looking ass.
As a valid experience for black children, it is also useful for Jews to learn about the special character and special needs of being black. Teachers like Leslie Campbell held a minority view of Fiddler on the Roof, and in particular of the education of black students.
Now, once they have been properly identified with their own culture, once they have been in a position where they feel secure within themselves first, then we may wish to branch off into some other type of revolutionary culture which may help to politicize them and bring their ideas along. But just to steep them in another culture for the sake of integration, I can't go along with that. I can't accept it. This is,
that's the best thing he said.
Lapse of the Board of Education, of the lapse of the whole total educational scene, when you take a group of black youngsters who I'm sure basically don't know who the hell they are, and you make them fit them into a Jewish scene so that they can be accumulative and sucking up Jewish culture. And I'm willing to bet that the people in that play don't know who the hell they are and don't know what.
You're absolutely right. Nobody knows who anybody is. Sucking up Jewish culture when the culture is yours. It ain't theirs. How you gonna steal something from somebody that stole it from you, Managa? Tyrus in Israel, Managa. In the original history of ancient America, founded upon the ruins. I mean, it looked like ruins where they were just at. The ruins of antiquity. The identity of the Aborigines with the people of Tyrus in Israel, Managa. Mojay, Managa, the Mexica, Mexico. Aborigine, Managa. There's too many dots to connect, Managa. This stuff is out here. It ain't no burying it. It ain't no hiding it. We do it one nog at a time, man. One nog at a time, man. I'm here for it. I got time for it, man. I'm Blackjack. This is House of Cards. Respect my house. Peace to the chat, man. Tribe up. Peace to the tribe, man. I love y'all, man. And we out. Salute. I do it for y'all. Salute. You know I'm not gonna stay ready. That's right. If it's war, then we pulling out the bows. Strictly for my knockers, represent the stronghold. Better put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight. Blackjack will never fold. If it's war, then we pulling out the bows. Strictly for my knockers, represent the stronghold. Better put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, black jacker never fold. Feather in my hat, black jack. Pull a dart from my back and lay a op out flat. American on my map when the trap hop out. Catch a colonizer lacking, we gon' rip off his scalp and pull his eyeballs out. Send him back where he came from. My niggas stay dangerous. Pack their ass on the ship and send them back to England. If it's war, my niggas then line up. Only real niggas slide with us. Let's tribe up. If it's war, then we pullin' out the bowls. Strictly for my niggas represent the stronghold. Better put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, black jacker never fold. If it's war, then we pullin' out the bowls. Strictly for my niggas represent the stronghold. Let them put your shield up when my arrows unload. Let's get one thing straight, black jacker never fold. Solid gold, they goose, the black magic purple gold. I was told they labeled you a savage. Strictly for my niggas to slaughter of Babylon. Pull a sword from the stone, my nigga, the house of cards. Point out the returns, I bet you I make change. By any method necessary, I bring pain. And if you got your peace pipe with you, then fire up. Only real niggas ride with us, we tribe up.